What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live here on a Thursday. The Blazers play later tonight. They take on the Philadelphia 76ers. I did a game preview for that earlier today on the main channel. Also, we got picks against the spread. Also, we got some trade talk. That is what's on the docket for today. I'm with my guy, Eric Brandt. How's it going, Eric?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
It's going good, man. I've been happy with those preview videos. Looking forward to the challenge tonight of trying to beat the 76ers, and looking forward to some rec league tonight. Luckily, this is the last game during my rec league until the last game before the All-Star break. So I got to get my runs in, but I'll catch as much of the game as I can. But I know you'll carry it like you always do.
I'm in a similar predicament tonight. I got Flynn's first basketball game, and then I have my game as well after that.
Okay, well, chat will carry us. I don't know. We'll have to figure. I'll do my best.
I'm hoping to watch at least most of it.
Yeah, so post-game show tonight might be a little off the rails, but I know you guys like off the rails, so yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, rec leagues tonight, not good. Not a good day for a Blazer game, but it's a good day for a Blazer win. So if they take care of business, I am not complaining. Anyway, let's jump into picks against the spread. Once again, picks against the spread is brought to you by BetOnline. Use that promo code BELIEVE for 50% rewards. All the spreads in this segment are brought to you via BetOnline, so you can get in on any of this action if you like what you see in terms of a spread. Anyway, here are the standings, and I just realized something, Eric. I have to make Jackson's record a little skinnier because he's the first one to reach the century mark in both wins and losses. And 100 wins, 100 losses for Jackson gets him the number one spot. But look how jam-packed everything is. It tightened up even more. Even more. You got me, Connor, and you, Eric, all tied 2 games back. I won and lost my 2 double downs as I pushed on the double down the day before. Trevin gained a little ground. Chat gained a little ground. Chat is only 3 games back in 5th. Trevin's only 6 games back in 6th. Even Aeromancer gained a little ground. 18 games back. Any thoughts on how crazy this has gotten?
It's fun, but I'd like to see us all that bunch, but a little higher, over 500.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to do my part. I've picked 50% of my games right. You know, the double downs just aren't doing me well. 11 and 15 isn't good. At least we're not as bad as we were last year on double downs. I don't know if you remember. People were like 7 and 15. It was absolutely insane. So at least we're doing better this year on those. Got a couple people above 500. Chat and Trevin above 500. But double downs have not served me well so far. Anyway, let's jump into the first of only 4 games today. It's a light week this week. I think we'll have more action on Monday.
Well, there was 5 games today, but 1 is over already.
Yeah, 1 is over already. There is a Paris game, and you had the Bulls beating the Pistons 126-108. Of course, on Monday it was MLK Day, so there's a bunch of early games, so that's why this week has been thrown for a loop. Next Monday, we do have 7 games, and then Thursday after that, we have 6. So next week will be a little heavier. Anyway, let's jump into the first game. You got the Boston Celtics hosting the Golden State Warriors. Boston is a 7-point home favorite.
So for the Warriors, they're going to be without Jonathan Kuminga, James Wiseman, JaMychal Green, and Andre Iguodala. The Boston Celtics are just without, of course, Danilo Gallinari. Jaylen Brown was questionable, but it looks like he's going to play.
All right, there's the chat poll. This is a tough one.
I have 3 people's picks whenever you're ready.
3 people's picks.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just get this poll live. There we go. I gotta minimize the poll though. There we go. And I gotta make sure that's not full screen. There we go. What is over the... Oh. I'll get rid of that. Okay. What we got?
All right. Zach, Connor, Eric, Warriors.
Zach, Connor, Eric are the Warriors.
Jackson and Aeromancer are Celtics.
All The Warriors logo looks clean. I like it. Getting more and more of the 3D, the super 3D logos up in here. I don't know how I feel about this spread. I mean, you're talking about the team that beat the Celtics in the finals. They do have Steph back, but Steph hasn't played too well. They haven't been good on the road. I hate this spread, Eric. What'd Trevin go with?
Don't know.
Oh, I'm waiting on Trevin to make his pick before I make my pick.
Oh, he's not here.
Well, that's not good. Trevin's doing it again. Watch, he'll come in like 15 seconds with a team name.
So yeah, I was here.
Chat, what do I do? Chat's 70% Celtics. We can vote on chat. Double down once again. Whoops, I didn't mean to click that. Chat's going Celtics.
Connor is switching to Celtics.
Did he switch or did he just not go Warriors?
No, he said I'm going
Message retracted. I see it. He retracted the pick. All right. I am going to go... My gut is screaming Celtics. So I'll go Celtics. I'll trust the gut today. And Trevin is not here. Trevin, where are you at? Anyway, let's just move on to game number 2. Trevin can always come back and make his picks. Somebody should message him or something.
I did.
All right, cool. Game number 2, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Toronto Raptors. The battle of the We the North teams. You got Toronto as a 5.5-point road favorite.
I was messaging him on another platform. So for the Raptors, they're without Otto Porter Jr. and Delano Banton. And the Timberwolves had a bunch of people questionable. Let me see if any of them have been updated. Of course, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jordan McLaughlin are out. Looks like Rudy Gobert is out for sure. Anthony Edwards, Taurean Prince, Austin Rivers, all still listed as questionable as of right now.
Gotcha. And by the way, since we're on the Raptors, if this stream hits 30 likes in the next minute, I'll give you guys a trade deadline graphic preview. So hit that like button if you want that. Hashtag sellout for likes. Timberwolves, says Connor.
Yeah, I don't see any updates on those guys, unfortunately.
So who is for sure out for the Timberwolves?
Cat, McLaughlin, Rudy Gobert.
Timberwolves have been playing better. So have the Raptors. I'm going Timberwolves.
Zach is Timberwolves too.
Okay.
Jackson, Aeromancer, and Eric are Raptors.
All right, good job, chat. We reached 30 likes. Here's a preview. I'm gonna be doing these for every team. We've already put a lot of it together.
All that stuff.
That's what we're doing for trade deadline graphics.
There's
Payroll
Trevin.
sheets. There we go, Trevin. Anyway, there's your sneak peek. All right, Trevin, pick your first game.
He said Celtics and Raptors.
Cool. Good job, Trevin. Thank you for showing up. All right, Zach and Eric, Warriors, everybody else, Celtics, and then Trevin goes Raptors here. Looks like we're going to have a... no, it's not going to be a split vote. 3 of us going Timberwolves. Chat is leaning heavy towards the favorites. They don't realize that what a spread means. Anyway, play-by-play says that's sick, Tori. Thank you, play-by-play. Appreciate Appreciate it. We got Alex Wolf on the screen. That's not good.
I mean, it's good, but... So.
There we go. Raptors for chat. Anyway, now chat's going to go underdog. I don't know. There isn't an underdog in this game. It's pretty dang close because you got the Suns hosting the Nets, and Brooklyn's only a 3.5-point road favorite.
The Nets are only without Kevin Durant still, and the Suns are without Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, Josh Okogie, and Cam Payne. One name I did not mention, Cameron Johnson, playing tonight. If that matters to anybody.
I don't know what I want to do here. Actually, I do. I'm going to go with the Nets. Trevin goes Nets. Just a gross day of games today.
Aeromancer and Jackson are also Nets. And I am too.
Chat is also Nets. And then what was Connor and what was Connor's Nets? And Zach.
Zach is Suns.
Zach got an island. Congratulations to Zach. That Suns logo looks really good 3D too, so I wanted to put one in there. Anyway, fourth and final game. After the Zachary Island, you got your Portland Trailblazers hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia comes into Portland as a 1.5-point favorite.
All right, the Sixers actually have no one listed on their injury report. And the Blazers, of course, are without Justice Winslow. They have Gary Payton II and Yusuf Nurkic listed as probable.
Yeah, when I was finding no injuries listed, I was wondering if that was truly the case because I, have to look up injuries for the injury report for the previews, and I don't know exactly where you go, but mine is like the night before where I'm looking up the injury report. So I was wondering, am I looking in the wrong spots or do they really have nobody injured? Because I feel like that team's always banged up.
Yeah, well, they've actually, ever since Maxey and Harden come back, they've had several games where they haven't had anyone injured.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this spread was 2.5. I have a feeling Portland's going to be a little competitive in this game. If I was picking with my head, I'd probably pick Portland.
With your head?
Yeah. But my heart says I don't want to be completely heartbroken if they lose tonight, so my heart is thinking Philly, but I'm not sure yet. I should probably choose my heart or my head.
Aeromancer, Zach, Trevin, Eric, all 76ers.
No confidence. Aeromancer, Eric,
Zach, and Trevin.
Blazer game picks just completely hinge on if they won or last game. Because didn't we all go Portland last Tuesday?
A lot of us did.
Yeah.
That was stupid though because they were playing Denver.
You know what? Screw it. I'm taking the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm going with my head.
Jackson and Connor are also taking the Blazers.
All right,
so
let's
you're just
go,
copying
boys.
them.
Nope, they're copying me, but that's okay. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, Trevin had the Nuggets Island and he refused to double down.
Yeah. All right, Blazers for chat.
Yeah, of course.
I should have taken the frickin' Nuggets. All right. Split vote on the final game on the Blazer game. That'll be fun. Time for double downs.
Man,
Let me do the chat poll.
why did I do this again?
I don't know what you did, but I don't know why you did it again either.
Last Tuesday I picked all the road teams and I went like 1-4, and now I did it again.
Dang, you love yourself some road teams. All right, chat poll Boston -7 versus Golden State. The second one was...
They had Raptors -5.5 at Wolves.
Okay.
And then they had
Brooklyn,
Nets -3.5 at Suns.
Phoenix, and then they had Portland +1.5. The only underdog they took, of course, is Portland.
Yeah.
Versus Philadelphia. I mean, to be fair, 3 of the 4 games had road favorites. So.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, let me copy paste the poll in here for Double Down real quick. It'll be like 10 seconds. Look at these homers, man. Look at these homers. All right, what you got?
All right, Aeromancer, Eric, and Trevin are all Nets.
Jeez, okay, hold on. Aeromancer, Eric, and Trevin.
And then...
Hold on.
I know. I was going to have a long pause.
Yeah, okay. Just building the suspense, I get it.
Yep.
Alright, there, and then Trevin. Alright, what next?
Jackson, Connor are both Celtics.
Jeez, we're just agreeing on double downs today.
Well, there's only 4 games.
Yeah. Could technically all disagree.
Zach is Timberwolves. And that leaves just you and chat. But I know what chat's going to be, so...
Yeah, chat loves themselves some Portland. We won our last game, so they love themselves some Portland Trailblazers. Yeah, nothing else is close. Portland is chat's double down.
We won our last game?
Oh, we lost our last game. Why is chat being positive? See, chat's making me think we won our last game. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, Tuesday, our last stream, they doubled down on the Blazers too, so we're doing that again. That didn't really work out too well for them. If they double down on the Nuggets instead, they would only be 1 game back of the lead, believe it or not. That's crazy. And then I don't know what I want to do, so I could go Celtics, I could go Timberwolves, I could go Nets, or I could go Blazers. I mean, since I suck at double downs and I'm probably going to lose no matter what, I'm going to take all of you except for Zach with me, and I'm going to double down on the Nets. Eric, Trevin, Aeromancer, we're going down. All right, that's picks against the spread. Good luck. One last look at the standings. I mean, you got... Chat could tie for the lead today, probably. I don't know if they could take it. I don't know how much they agree with Jackson. Eric, me, Connor. I mean, we could take the lead today. It's going to be really interesting to see if Jackson can gain some ground. I'm kind of just rooting against Jackson today.
Chat and Jackson have the exact same picks on every game.
Except for their double down.
Except double down.
Yeah, so chat, you guys can gain a game on him. I'm kind of just rooting against Jackson just for the chaos.
Yeah.
I want to see like 4 people tied for first. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway.
You only have 1 game different than Jackson, so.
Am I double down?
Yeah.
So I can gain 2 games. So I can tie him. Those are the 2 games that matter most to me. All right, cool. That's picks against the spread. The bottom ticker's updated, Derek. I don't know why it's updated on this stream and not on the other stream. It's today's games for once. I'll have to try and figure that out. I don't even know what to do, though. There's nothing to figure out with that. It's just a file that I upload. So anyway, let's talk trade stuff. I'll let you just kind of take this over and lead this conversation. Rui's supposedly available. You also wanted to talk about OG Anunoby, so we can talk about whatever.
Yeah, so it came out yesterday that Rui is definitely available. And the Wizards are pretty much open for business. Now they're saying they want to keep Kuzma, but Kuzma's telling everyone he can't wait to be a free agent and be wanted and, take pretty much the best offer. So I think it'd be kind of dumb of them to rely on him re-signing with them because I don't think he wants to be there long term. So we'll see if they call his bluff on that or if they possibly let him walk for nothing. So as far as Rui goes, he does meet the criteria that he fits into the Rocco trade exception. It would put us in the tax if we don't match salary, but we could theoretically get him for cheap based on taking him and not giving them salary back because they're more concerned about saving money with the Rui trade than they are necessarily getting the best player or players back in a trade. So you might lose a young player in some seconds, but we don't necessarily have to match picks. The question is Rui a good enough player, especially considering you have to pay him in the offseason to keep him? Is he a good enough player to go into the tax for? And are they willing to do that? Are they willing to do it if they get someone like Daniel Gafford thrown in there too, so that they can solve kind of two problems with one trade? I don't have a good sense on whether Rui is good enough. If I had to guess, I'd lean towards no, that they would only trade for him if it was part of like a Josh Hart trade where we got multiple pieces back and he was one of them. But I don't know. I could be wrong on that one. That's not based on any information. Yeah. That's just a guess. Yeah.
I want to bring up Fanspo because we haven't brought up Fanspo in a while. The trade machine, the good old trade machine.
The Wizards basically have too many players. They have too many players that all play similar positions. They have no defined roles for them because they all need time, and they're all kind of the same level, but provide different skill sets. And Rui's not having the best year shooting-wise, and considering he's a free agent, they're saying they want to keep Kuzma and pay him, so there's not much room for Rui on the team. And the main reason, so there's two big needs for the Blazers, in my opinion. They need another shooter, scorer, creator, that type of player, and they need defense. And Rui's a scorer, but he's not, especially this year, hasn't been the best shooter. Isn't the most efficient player, so he could definitely be a scorer off the bench, but the other things like high shooting percentages and defense, that definitely would be an issue still with him. That's why I said it'd probably be better if they paired him with someone like Gafford who could provide some of that defense with the second unit. But but that's also why you could probably get him for cheap, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Rui to play better if he had like a definite role on a good team. Yeah,
I agree. Anyway, I want to share this trade idea. You've already seen this, Eric.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it. So, this is my trade idea, and it accomplishes multiple things for each team. Let me make this a little bit bigger, actually. Let me make it so you guys can see this. So, there was a report earlier in the season that the Celtics were interested in Justice Winslow. The Celtics could be any team that's able to take him on or has a trade exception, or you could figure out some, other salary coming out of whoever gets Winslow. But basically, the Celtics make sense because they got trade exception for him. So, Portland is able to trade 4 players for 2, so they'd have to sign 2 players, but they do save almost $2 million. So with prorated contracts around the deadline, they should be able to stay out of the luxury tax. even after making this move, so that's a part of it. The Wizards, as you explained yesterday, Eric, are trying to clear a roster spot and save money. Greg Brown and Trendon Watford are both non-guaranteed next year, correct?
I think Greg Brown's a free agent. Or, yeah, non-guaranteed. Non-guaranteed, yeah, non-guaranteed.
Yeah, so they could cut both those guys, and they would clear a roster spot and save $2.3 million in this deal. By the way, I meant to have Portland sending 2 seconds to Washington, not Boston. So let me fix that. Wizards.
Just a correction. They can't cut those guys as part of the trade. They'd have to accept the trade, cut 2 players, and then cut them.
Oh, they'd have to cut 2 players to accept them. Yeah, that throws a wrench in things.
They can't do the trade without cutting the 2 players off their roster first.
Why would they have to cut 2 players? Because they're taking 3 back for 2.
Oh, they'd have to cut 1 then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if they have anybody they're willing to cut. Maybe Taj Gibson. I don't know, but it does save them money. It gets them a young guard for young guard depth. They don't have enough guard depth, and they get 3 seconds. I don't really know what Washington would be looking for Rui, but I assume it would be something along these lines.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't know about 3 because maybe you find another team for one of those. Because I know one of the problems with them is not only do they want to get under the tax, but they want to actually send out one more player than coming in so that they can sign Jordan Goodwin to a contract because they really want to do that for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically in this for Portland, it's just it's stuck in the luxury tax, so you don't have to trade Watford out. You don't even have to trade Greg Brown out. You don't even have to trade Winslow out. If you traded Keon and got back Gafford and then used the $6.5 million trade exception that they have from Rocco to absorb Rui, you could do this trade literally just sending out Keon. But the problem is that puts you into the tax. So if you trade Watford, Greg Brown, Keon, and Justice, and then you sign 2 guys to prorated contracts because it's already the middle of the season, then you can take back Gafford and Rui and stay out of the luxury tax. So that all hinges on Jody. But supposedly there are other teams that are interested in Trendon Watford. I don't know who it is, but you could just hypothetically send him to a 4th team. A lot of teams have trade exceptions that big. And I don't know if he counts as like a pure minimum so that they don't have to match anyways. But yeah, there's ways you can, send Watford somewhere else. And then the Wizards are doing a 2-for-2 trade, and then they could cut Greg Brown. They don't owe him anything next year, and then they'd save, if you didn't do this trade with Winslow, they'd save $4 million in it.
Yeah. And I do know Watford, despite not playing recently, has value in a trade just because, like, a lot of teams love those 2 years of non-guaranteed at basically the minimum contracts, especially if they're a team that's already super high into the luxury tax or trying to duck the tax. Those kind of contracts are very valuable, and you can always offload them easily, or you can just cut the player if you don't want him next year. So you could probably get a 2nd-round pick too to include in this trade if you sent him out to another team as well.
Yeah, and you could throw that Washington's way if they need it. Or if the Celtics won't trade a 2nd for Winslow and they want him for free, if you could get a 2nd for Watford, then that replaces the Boston 2nd, because the Celtics are instrumental in this because they can take on Winslow's $4 million without sending anything out, which helps Portland save money and potentially stay under the tax, and it helps Washington save money and stay out of the tax and get lower. So the Celtics would be an instrumental part of this. You would basically be willing to trade Justice Winslow there for free just because they can take on that $4 million. But this is like the type of opportunistic trade. Who's a good team for Watford, you think?
Like pretty much any team.
All right.
Like, this is going to sound weird, but I think Phoenix is a good team for him because of their ownership situation, Both him and Keon have really nice contracts for next year, and so if they want to like save money towards the end of their roster but have like a competent player, like I think that's
so could be something like that. So I think Watford's a true minimum, right? I don't really know.
Also, Winslow, I think the Kings have a big enough TPE, and that might be a good spot for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing is it could be Boston, it could be Sacramento. It's always nice when coming up with trade ideas where you can have different options to fill a role in that trade.
Yep.
Right? So this might not be the Suns. This might be, I don't know, the Brooklyn Nets. Then they might trade, a 2026 second or so. I don't know. But that's the thing with a trade like this is you basically would sort it out with Washington where, okay, well, how many seconds on top of Keon Johnson and Greg Brown would you need in order to make this deal happen? And then you would sort out the other things afterwards with the other teams. And if you come to this, boom, you don't unprotect your future first. You upgrade both your backup power forward and backup center spot. You get that scorer you need off the bench in Rui. He's young. So is Gafford. And you stay out of the tax. Like, that's a home run, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You got GP2, Nas, and Rui, and Gafford off the bench. You can relegate Eubanks to a third-string center role. That would be a really good trade deadline. If Cronin pulls off something like this, it's a good trade deadline. Is where I'm at.
Yep.
So,
and there are some players like I think PJ Washington is a better defender and can play a little bit more 5 than Rui can. So if you can like work something like that out where you get a PJ Washington maybe or all those guys we've talked about before in that range. Mm-hmm. Like maybe one of those teams is interested in Rui, so you bring them in and then they get Rui and we get one of those guys. I think that would be nice for me. Like PJ Washington and Gafford or something like that would be really nice. But I don't even know if you need Gafford if you get PJ. But
yeah, are you comfortable with PJ at the 4? Off the bench?
Yeah, well, PJ has really done a good job on defense this year.
Yeah,
he's really improved a lot on that end, and he's like almost becoming one of those like switchable type bigs. And even though he's a little undersized for center, like he's been doing a really, really nice job at that this year. So that's something that Portland would need. Plus, I know his shooting isn't as great this year as it has been in the past, but I mean, you'd have to think that that's something that could be correctable in the right situation as well. So, yeah, I would prefer PJ to Rui, just because he's a little bit better on defense, a little bit more dependable of a shooter that you can count on right now.
Yeah, so
maybe not as much as a creator, but yeah.
Yeah, you can do like the same framework of a trade. It could be something. Yeah, something like this. I don't know what the Hornets would want for PJ Washington. Mm-hmm. But
I mean, Rui for PJ for them sounds like a. I mean, they probably don't want to pay either, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You can get creative, send one of these picks to the Hornets. If the Kings are willing to trade a second for, for Winslow, and then you roped in a team that was willing to give a second for Watford or something like that. Mm-hmm. Send Watford to the 5th team and get another second, and then something along those lines. Seconds and Keon for the Hornets. They don't really need another guard, but I think they should move off Terry Rozier at the very least.
There's been some rumors they might.
Yeah. So something like this is kind of the same sort of structure of a multi-team trade. It's just you're getting PJ Washington instead of Rui, but you're still getting Gafford from the Wizards. I don't think they want to pay him next year. So maybe you don't even have to trade a second. It could be something where you don't even have to give a second to Washington if you're only getting back Daniel Gafford. Because he's owed like a $10, $11, $12 million extension next year. I feel like they might be regretting that. Yeah. So it's just opportunistic trades where you're able to get an asset without giving up much value due to other reasons, such as the contract extension or whatever.
Yeah.
Is the most idealistic type of trade for the Blazers.
Yeah, if we're not talking home run type trades.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't I like McDaniels? Asked David Weed. I I would love to get Jalen McDaniels, but I think there's too many teams interested in him. So that's the type of player you'd have to overpay for, which we're trying to find players you could get with the minimal assets we have while improving our bench without really affecting the core 6 rotation players that we already have. So that's the kind of trades I would look at first. Obviously, if the Hornets want to throw Jalen McDaniels into this trade, sure. Yes, I would love to have Jalen McDaniels. I think we'd all agree that would be a really nice player to have. I just, with how much interest there is in him and how well he's been playing lately, I feel like his value is going to be a little too high for what we have available to give up.
Chris Haynes mentioned Will Barton for the Blazers in his podcast yesterday.
It wasn't it might have been on his podcast, but he was on Rip City Radio yesterday. And these are the 4 players he mentioned. It was OG, of course.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks, but he didn't think Memphis would trade him, so it was kind of stupid. And then the other 2 were Will Barton and Gary Trent Jr. were 2 guys they should look at.
So basically former Blazers. I'm not buying that. Get out of here. What? Yeah. Are those guys Dame wants back or something? Like, I don't understand that. Will Barton has struggled this year. He was solid last year. His play's fallen off this year.
I wouldn't mind if that was one of my kids, actually, not the dog.
It was an accident.
Okay. Will Barton, if he gets bought out, maybe that's a good buyout type guy. But he makes like $15 million this year. We're not trading for him.
Yeah, we're not trading for him. Like, as a buyout guy, if you trade Josh Hart, he can kind of play a Josh Hart role. He doesn't rebound like Josh Hart, though. That's the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's okay defensively, can pass and handle a little bit. The thing is, he's just more aggressive as a scorer. Is that a bad thing off the bench? I'm not sure. That has been kind of a knock on him, is he'll like turn a game into the Will Barton show. He shoots 7 shots per game at 20 minutes per game. And I think that's more shots per game than Josh Hart, and Josh Hart's playing in the 30s. But that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Because Josh Hart doesn't shoot. So that's interesting.
And chat can stop the Anfernee Simons trade talks, because that's the other thing Chris Haynes said, and it was also reported prior to him saying this. We've both been saying this all year. They have no intention on trading Anfernee Simons. It's not going to happen unless someone like Kevin Durant becomes available or something. But short of that happening, they're not trading Anfernee.
Yep, which means we're gonna have like 20 people in the next 5 post-game shows coming in saying, trade Anfernee, we need PJ Washington for him, or whatever the hell people want. I don't know. I've seen so many bad Anfernee Simons trades lately, it boggles my mind.
Yeah, I saw one that we'd be better off trading Anfernee Simons straight up for Jared Vanderbilt if it was possible. That he'd be better.
People are ridiculous. That's just so outright bad.
Yeah.
That's a terrible take.
Max S, right? Yeah. Why did he list a bunch of guards?
Yeah.
But anyways,
David Weed says no people want OG Anunoby for Simons. Do you think that's the only Simons trade proposal we've seen this year? Yes, I know a lot of people want OG for Simons, but that's not the only Simons trade proposal, unfortunately. I've seen like 1 million of them, and 90% of them suck.
Nathan. And for Jay Crowder, get it done, Neil.
Yeah.
Guys. The heck? But anyways, okay, so say all you want that it might be a smokescreen to boost Ant's value. There is not a single even hint or fracture or anything that they've ever said and done from Dame, Cronin, Billups, before all those guys took over. Not once has it ever fractured within the organization that they are down on Anfernee Simons or don't believe in Anfernee Simons or want to possibly move him in the future. In fact, you've heard nothing but the opposite. I think Dame recognizes that Anfernee, if he can achieve his potential, is much better fit-wise than CJ was. He's made strides on defense, whether you want to acknowledge that at all. He's definitely gotten better on that end. It's still not to where it needs to be if he wants to be an all-star, but he has gotten better. And the team is not down on him. He's just shooting bad this year compared to his normal career averages, and that's nothing that they're concerned about long term.
Yeah. He's still a very solid player. Solid efficiency, not great, but solid for a 22-point per game scorer who's 23 years old. That's solid. Here's the thing with Anfernee Simons that drives me crazy, bro, is he plays with a bench unit that just has no creation whatsoever, and then when he tries to create stuff, people get mad at him like, oh, he's ISOing and taking over the bench offense too much. He's making it all about him. He's just like CJ. Dude, what? He's trying to win games, and given who he's playing with off the bench, him playing like that is trying to win a game. Because the alternative is, a lot of times, when they're stagnant in the half court, you're going to give the ball to Shaedon Sharpe and he's going to create one-on-one? Shaedon Sharpe had the best one-on-one creation move of the season last game against the Nuggets with that hesitation, and he was able to actually get to the rim instead of shooting a pull-up when he had a step. So, congratulations, but he ain't creating.
That was actually 2 games ago against Dallas. Yeah.
Or it's 2 games ago.
Yeah.
Was it 2 games ago?
Yep.
The Hezi?
Yep.
I swear he had one
Or he
against
drove
Denver.
baseline?
No, the one he drove middle. Against Denver.
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah. He had one against Denver, too. I was thinking I thought you were talking about the one where he caught the ball on the side and drove and dunked it.
Oh, yeah, but I like the Denver one, like he didn't even have a lane when he had the ball. Like, he was doing it off the dribble, like one-on-one with the defender on him and just sold a hesitation. I forget who he had on him. It was a slower defender. I think it was Konkar.
That was the one where he threw it in from down below. I
don't know. Threw it in from down below?
Like, he brought the ball all the way down and laid it in from really low.
Yeah, going right down the lane. Yeah. I mean, so, like, he's showing flashes, but he ain't going to create. Nuss isn't going to consistently create. Who do you have on the bench that's going to consistently create? Like, it has to be Simons.
Yeah.
It has to be Simons. Like, there's a reason CJ in the past with some bad bench lineups has played like that with bench lineups. But CJ was worse in that regard than Simons has been. Simons with the starting lineup has done a really good job playing within the flow, but then that's not enough for people. But then when he has to try and carry the bench lineup, then that's too much for people. Basically, it's just people want to complain. He's played his role to, I think, the best of his ability. Obviously, he could make more shots and all that sort of thing, but like he's done a good job of fitting in with both lineups that he plays with.
Mm-hmm.
Being the creator with the bench and being a, like second, third option with the starting lineup.
I still think he has a ways to go in terms of, knowing when to create for himself and when to pass and play make, and he's got to be a little bit better as a playmaker in that second unit and try to get people to the right spots, maybe direct people a little better as the point guard. But, look at him prior to last season to now. And the jump is huge. So imagine, a year or two from now when he has that experience and is doing those things. It's just weird. It's what are we supposed to say when people say he doesn't get back on defense and he people just make stuff up.
Speaking of something made up, somebody says, if we had CJ Simons and Dame, you say don't trade any of them, as if we didn't say last year to trade CJ McCollum so that we could start Ant. Don't put words in my mouth or you'll get banned, all right? Because that's BS. We talked about it for 2 months, upwards of 2 months to trade CJ so we could start Ant. So don't put words in my mouth. I don't want 3 guards like that starting. 2 is fine. A lot of people can't handle 2. which is funny to me. Two super talented guards, one of them's young, and it's a problem. When the defense has been okay.
Who would you trade if we had three really great guards?
CJ. We traded CJ so we could start Ant.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we traded CJ so we could start Ant. Don't put words in my mouth. I don't like that. Anyway, I'm not yelling either. If you think this is yelling, you haven't watched me enough.
Well, he also said that Ant's... Let me find the exact quote.
Ishlet says, I count Hart as a guard too, Tori. We need another wing in the lineup for Hart. Hart's a wing. Hart can play the 3. Okay. Hart can play the 4 off the bench. Like, Hart's not CJ. Hart's not Simons.
Okay, so everyone agrees that out of our starters, Hart has probably been the weakest of the starters, right?
Yeah.
Is that like a hot take or anything?
We all agree on that.
Is that a hot take to anyone in chat? I mean, maybe there's some Nurk haters and Ant haters in here that would agree, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I guess you could maybe make the case that it's because he's playing small forward, but, like, if he's playing shooting guard or the games, Dame has missed when he did play shooting guard, like, it's not like our defense was better when he was at the shooting guard, when we had a bigger lineup in there. So what I don't get is then saying that Ant's the problem. Like, So if that's your take, like, we probably could use a bigger, better small forward. So, like, if that's what you want to do, if you say Hart needs to be replaced, whether it's in the starting lineup or trade him outright to get, like, it's hard to argue with that, right? Like, that's probably, if we want to be a contender, that's probably within the starting lineup, the best solution is to upgrade the starting spot, have Hart come off the bench, or use Hart to upgrade that starting spot. So, like, I don't get why people then just can recognize that as being true and then just say, it's the problem, like that doesn't make, like, I don't see the correlation there. So, like, why don't you try seeing if a better defending small forward and a better, like, shooting small forward works better with that lineup before just saying it can't work at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, that's I think the starting line was fine though. Got to upgrade the bench. That's what the Rui trade idea was. The bench has been better with GP2 and Nas being back now. So, hopefully they're not hemorrhaging points like they have been. And if that's true, then this team can be in any game. Also, we can all be deaf now.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Anyway, we'll have the post-game show tonight. We'll talk more trade stuff tonight. We have a preview over on the main channel for this game tonight, so lots of content. Is there anything else you want to cover specifically on the stream, Eric?
Well, OG's trade value was mentioned to be they want 2 young players on team-friendly contracts and picks. I mean, that's pretty much in line with what we thought the value would be. Now, we do obviously have Sharp as one of those pieces. And but the picks are going to be a problem.
I don't think he's getting traded.
I don't think he is either. I think it's pretty apparent that Gary Trent's the guy they're going to try to trade first. And then I'm just going to say this for the record for OG. I probably overvalue draft picks. I always say that, but like, I would have a problem. I mean, I understand the mindset, but if we give up on Sharp and give up future picks for Simons, like, lightly protect or unprotect the Bulls pick, I don't see how we get much better than whatever that team becomes. Yeah. And
it's just a question of, is that team good enough to justify that? Which.
So I'd lean towards no in those situations. Like, I don't have a problem if you want to say yes, that's worth it. But I think, in my mind, the percentage chance that team wins a championship compared to if Sharp pops in a year or two and we get like another player to add to that core without giving up a ton, and we have all our future picks this summer to possibly go all in without, giving up Sharp. I think then you're talking about possibly having a higher ceiling. So I don't like to limit what the team can become right now this season. That's just my personal preference in trades, is not to go all in unless, obviously, like I said, someone that we're not talking about becomes available. That's a no-brainer. Then you obviously go for it. But it's tough to justify, I think, giving up on Sharp right now and giving up picks on top of it for, an elite role player, but a role player at that.
Yeah, and anything less than that isn't enough for OG. Basically, it's my read that Toronto is in a position where they don't really want to trade OG, but they would consider trading him if you blew them away. So that's why all the reports are a bunch of insane packages, because it's a somewhere, if we get an insane package, okay, yeah, we might trade him. That's what it will take, though. So I don't think they're serious about shopping him.
Mm-hmm.
I think they keep him. I think they keep Siakam. I think they keep Scotty Barnes. I think there's a good chance that Gary Trent Jr. is traded. I think there's a 50-50 chance Fred VanVleet's traded.
Completely agree.
And if they keep guys, then they're going to be buyers probably, because their bench is awful and they need to upgrade the bench. They're kind of in the same position we've been in, but their bench is probably even worse when healthy than ours is. Because Precious is still developing. Malachi Flynn is not much of a creator. They just don't have creation off that bench unit. They don't have a lot.
David, we're not confusing Jalen McDaniels with Jaden McDaniels. We've had whole shows where we've talked about Jalen McDaniels, but there are reports that almost every team in the league has called Charlotte about Jalen McDaniels, just like almost every team in the league has called Utah about Jared Vanderbilt and stuff like that. So yeah, we're not confusing him for anyone. We recognize that. That's someone
we know the brothers. Cody Martin's on Charlotte and Caleb Martin's on Miami. We had that conversation recently, and Caleb has always been the scorer. Cody's always been the more well-rounded facilitator, not as good of a shooter. All right, I know my brothers. All right,
and that's if you can get Cody Martin and Jalen McDaniels, and maybe one other player, maybe some picks or something, some sort of asset for Hart, then maybe you think about it. But I think if you trade Hart, you have to have someone, who could fill the starting lineup, whether you believe in Nas or not, to do that, or someone in that trade. But I think you have to get at least 2 rotational players for trading out Hart if you're trading him in a trade like that.
Yep. Reese, shut up. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, hope we get a win tonight. This would be a good win against the 76ers, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a great win to start off this home trip right. Home trip. It's not a trip. We're at home. This home stand.
Home stand.
So, yeah, it's a good challenge, but, I mean, Philadelphia's only 1.5-point favorites. Most of us... half of us picked Blazers, half of us picked Sixers. We'll see how that goes. And then, post-game show tonight, nothing tomorrow, and then we got another game on Saturday.
No, it's not till Sunday.
Nice. We get 2 days off finally.
Yep. And
that's good.
I think the 49er Cowboys game starts at 3:30. The Blazers game is at 6, so there's going to be a little bit of overlap.
Is the Blazer game at 6?
It's a Sunday, against the Lakers. Yeah.
Oh, Reese asked me if I wanted to go to that game. Well, that's dang it. I'll have to let Reese know that I'm probably not gonna go to that game because the Niners are playing the Cowboys, and I need a freaking championship. So, go Niners. I need that win. Anyway. Dude, our 2 hated rivals, the Cowboys and the Lakers, Eric, on Sunday. But we'll have that post-game stream. Either we're going to be in a really good mood or a really bad mood, and it's not going to depend on the Blazer game. Because I'll be in a good mood even if the Blazers lose to Lakers. I'll still be happy if the Niners can take care of business. So, anything else?
Nope. Hope everyone has a good rest of your evening. Hope to see you later tonight.
Yep. Have a good day. See you on the post-game show. This has been Blazers Uprise Live presented by Bet Online. Promo code BELIEVE. 50% rewards. BOEAV. We're out of here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.